You know, it kind of feels like the end of Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. If there's one thing history has taught us, it's that when United players start doubting the manager, things go south fast. They stop playing for him, start turning against him, and before you know it, it results in the manager being sacked. We've seen this happen with Mourinho, Solskjaer, Ten Hag, pretty much everyone who's come through lately. And it's hard not to think we're seeing the same thing happen again with Ruben Amorim. So here's the thing. The first red flag came from Chris Wheeler's article in the Daily Mail. Apparently, some of United players aren't buying into Amram's tactics. When that kind of talk starts, it rarely stays behind closed doors. Players are already chatting about a possible change in direction, and that's never a good sign. I mean, at United, when the dressing room turns, the manager is usually just lost. And the media. They're not helping either. You know how it is. Man United stumbles, the press just jumps all over it. Every small problem turns into a crisis. And with Amorim's recent comments, like when he said the worst Manchester United team in history, these didn't help. He probably meant it as a kick up the backside, but it just gave the media more to chew on. Then there's former players. Instead of backing Amorim, a lot of them are just throwing him under the bus. They're not saying the team isn't good enough, they're saying his tactics don't work. Wayne Rooney, for example, called Amorim naive for thinking United could challenge for the Premier League. Amorim addressed this in a press conference that Manchester United's goal is to win the Premier League. They're not favourites in any way. This just shows how ex-players, just like the media, try to make something out of anything. And let's not forget the financial stuff. With Ineos now involved, there's been a lot of cutting costs, staff layoff, reduced bonuses, barely any backing in the transfer market, and Amorim's working with a squad that isn't really built for his style. It's not an excuse, but it's definitely not making his life easier. Well, on the bright side, the ownership doesn't seem to be putting much pressure on Amorim. They didn't give him loads of new players, but they're also not demanding immediate success. And honestly, part of the reason they're so chill might be because they can't afford to sack another manager if it comes to that. So, yeah. Is this the beginning of the end of Ruben Amorim? It kinda looks like it. Some players aren't convinced, the media is on his case, ex-players aren't backing him, and he's got financial constraints on top of all of that. The only real thing in his favor is that the owners aren't in a hurry to make a change, but at United, that can change overnight. So what do you think? Is this the end of Ruben Amorim?